Noel Ignatieff was born December 22nd, 1940 in Philadelphia. According to his blog, his grandparents fled Russia facing Jewish persecution. His grandfather Jake, a member of B'nai B'rith, and his grandmother Celia, a housewife, arrived in the United States around 1905. Noel Ignatieff's perhaps best known for his book, How the Irish Became White, which was a book that he published in 1995 based on his doctoral dissertation that he did whilst he was at Harvard. In the book, he essentially makes the argument that the Irish became white over time by participating in the racial social hierarchy that was established in the United States at the time. Through things like the New York draft riots, since Irish people looked white and they were being mean to the blacks just like all the other whites, they must be participating and therefore becoming white and moving themselves up this social hierarchy. Of course, this quickly falls apart. It presupposes the idea that race is a social construct in the first place. It also doesn't line up whenever we look at the legal records or any of the other evidence from that time period either. The 1790 Naturalization Act doesn't specifically outline what a white person is. However, it does tell us whether or not the Founding Fathers considered Irish people to be white or not. Naturalization was limited to free white persons. Among the thousands of Irish people naturalized and therefore considered free white persons, there were multiple notable examples, signers of the Declaration and Founding Fathers. By 1850, the evidence gets even stronger. At this point, birthplace and racial classification are both on the census. Here we see a consistent pattern. People born all over Ireland, from Ulster to Munster, were listed as white on the US Census right next to their birthplace being Ireland. So what is the actual truth behind Irish discrimination in the United States? Well, let's look at two of the most common tropes and talking points that we often hear. The first one being the simian ape depictions. This came from a satirical British publication called Punch. It was founded in 1841 in London by two fellas by the name of Henry Mayhew and Ebenezer Landells. They were the ones that popularized this simian depiction. The thing is that this was a British position. The next thing that we often hear is the Irish job discrimination and Irish need not apply signs. In 2018, a fellow named Liam Hogan conducted a survey and found a mere 268 Irish need not apply ads that were unique among 5 million archived newspaper articles. Most Irish people would have went their entire lives without even seeing one of these discriminatory hiring signs. The status of Irish people has also never been in question in US courts either, like it has for other groups. For example, in 1922, there was a case called Ozawa v. United States where a Japanese guy called Takao was essentially making the argument that despite being racially Japanese, he qualified for being considered a free white person because he spoke English at home, he educated his children in American schools, and he was Christian. The court, they decided that there was a racial factor to this whole thing, and that simply assimilating to the culture wasn't enough, and they ruled that he could not become naturalized based on that factor. Another interesting case was that of Bhagat Singh versus United States in 1923. His argument was that white refers to Caucasian, which refers to Indo-European. And since the Indo-European expansion also went east and into the Indian subcontinent, hence the term Aryan, that he was indeed an Aryan, and therefore Caucasian, which is what white means, which means that he is a free white person. The court rejected that as well, obviously.